Funny.
And you know, that was the difference too.
It's a great documentary. Yeah,
and
it is.
And the riskiness of being so honest on it. So even with the Beatles, they had all those silly moments where, but they weren't sitting and telling the dirt, as it were.
Well, you also think if it were made today, everyone would be very consciously aware of what they were doing.
That's what I meant before when I said that. Is that
it'd be staged.
And also,
be
they
like
didn't
the Real
know
Housewives.
it was going to be. It ended up being this movie, but as we went along and the footage kept getting shot and everything, things just happened in a way that it morphed into a story.
I'm scared to see what she's got on the editing floor. I mean, she's got so much stuff.
I thought all that stuff burned. I asked at some point when we were all together, something that was in the vault at Warner Brothers or something, and it's not. Yeah, I think it's gone. The footage is gone forever, but we'll see.
You asked Madonna.
I'm not buying that.
You'd think it would be out.
I'm not buying that.
There'd be some extra footage out by now.
You asked Madonna like where it was.
No, you asked Alex Kashishian would know.
Yeah, and I could swear that it was at the Outfest or something that I asked him, like, what about all the extra bonus footage? Are you going to put that on on a special DVD release or something? And I'm pretty sure he said no. I think it was. I don't know. We'll see.
Huh.
It would be great. We all
survey says
we all hope.
I don't think Madonna has lost a picture.
All those interviews of us laying in a hotel bed with our pajamas on, talking about our families and our broken homes and everything, could actually end up being
who knows
in the world.
Interesting. Well, I'd like to know if it's still out there. Did you guys notice,
where is that footage, guys?
Yeah, seriously, someone has to have that footage if it hasn't burned. Did you notice, because you stayed with Madonna and you stayed even later throughout the tours, was there this change? Because, am I making it my own backstory? That
you sure are. I know what you're trying to do, but go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not trying to bring any shade, but, that she was less accessible, than on the the earlier tours. Like she just became, she was always a superstar, even who's that girl, but just
you mean the sea change?
Well, there was no more hanging out, there was no more let's have dinners, and that's not good or bad. The
biggest thing that I noticed was when she started having a family, and it was different, and then you have your entourage grows bigger because you have to have nannies and more. It's just more people working for you,
right?
But I don't know what tour it was when we started traveling separately. So she had a smaller plane.
Drown World.
Right. So she had a smaller plane for her entourage, and then a different hotel, and then we were in a different hotel. But sometimes we were still at the same hotel. Mm-hmm. It depended on how they could work it out financially for the Four Seasons to give us this many rooms.
Right.
They tried. I can say as the tours went on, it got to be at the last tour I did, we were in Europe in buses. A lot of the time, So
I remember you calling me and saying, Niki, she's like, it's not like we used to. She's like, it's not like it used to be.
I also was older. I was like 40, and I had a kid, and that was like a whole nother thing. So by having a child and going on a tour like that, I could really relate.
Well, that's why
and
I knew.
there was so much respect at that point. I was like, whoa, this is really hard. To rush off stage, go home. My niece was taking care of my baby, so I would go in and put her to bed at midnight and then take my makeup off and everything and then order room service, glass of wine, try to come down. It was stressful. Yeah. So I
remember traveling. That's when
stressful.
I knew. That's when I knew. After my baby, I was like, trust me. How do you do this unless you're a superstar?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
It's for me, it's like, I remember being on the road after I'd had my child and being injured after Drown World, trying to get through the injury. And by the time I was out there with my baby strapped on me doing sound checks, I was like, and I was 42. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. And like I said, I don't think you can do it in a good way. Unless you're a superstar, unless you do have an entourage, it becomes a disservice after a while, and that's when I knew I had to slow things down because I was not a superstar. I was definitely doing the music I wanted to do, but less income. So it's like, okay, what kind of life? What do you want your life to look like? Right. You have to make those decisions, and so that for me, when I saw, like I said, first of all. When the court changed, as they say, in government, it's like when you see the court starting to change in a job, and people vying for like who's going to get to be near Julius Caesar. You know, and it's like when you're used to being able to walk on the floor of the Senate, as it were, and be right next to Caesar and talk to Caesar.
Yeah, that's a
and now
hard
you've
thing.
got to go through Cassius and Brutus and everybody else to get to. It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot
It's
to
a different-
adapt. To adapt.
And especially
Sure.
what happens when you're 20 is far different than what you will have happen to you when you're in your 40s.
Yes.
It's just people can talk to you a certain way.
Yes.
People can talk to you a certain way when you're in your 20s, but when you're in your 40s,
And you know, honestly, there were still the last couple tours that I did, there would be like, there's a piano concert in Paris this night, or there's this. We were invited to go to a lot of different events or movie screenings or something. And that was the night I had with my husband, or that was the night I had with my baby to be in Paris and hang out. So I understood, you know, you can't always be out there and everything. You have to have that time for your family.
Yes. You do have to have that time for your
as
family.
well.
or how
Just
you want
to keep the
how you want your
balance.
life to look.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How do you want your life to look?
Do you think Madonna, and I guess you could substitute anyone, Beyonce, anyone in this sentence.
Exactly.
Like, do you think
Jennifer
Madonna like
Lopez.
had to then like sacrifice? I mean, she has a family, but like to sacrifice, like you really have to sacrifice if that is the goal. I mean, is that, or can you have both? I don't know. I mean, it's a real
I feel like
question.
she's done the best she could do with the circumstances, you know, and try to hire the best people to help you with your children and have them be there as much as they could be. You know, she's
Child, we're living in Los Angeles with 30
And there's
billion
so many people-
homeless people out on the street. Did she have to sacrifice? She sacrificed when she gets in that gym and has to get back on the road again and make that money. Sacrificing to have a child, first of all, you're letting somebody house in you.
and hear your
So
thoughts.
yeah, that's sacrifice. I mean, there's a lot of moments where I say, of course she had to sacrifice. But is it hard to travel on a private plane with a nanny and a chef and a trainer? To Beyonce and to J-Lo and to all, that is no sacrifice. You know,
And a
I mean,
bodyguard at 5.
I can't fix my mouth to say that part of it is the sacrifice. Not when we're sitting above 30 billion homeless out here who don't have a pot to. So, you know, I'm sorry. But I'm from a different income bracket. Praise God.
Yeah, I think anyone who takes on that much, it's like your mind, you know, when you have a child.
That's what I'm saying.
your-
Mentally, you're
people
sacrificing.
say exactly. People say your mind will never be free again. You know, it's like this is always in your mind. You're always trying to manage, and you're trying to. So even if people are doing things for you, you're managing.
And she's
it.
a Leo,
And
so I
it's
know
so
she's got
much.
hand in, she's got foot, hand,
Yeah,
everything
so-
else. You know, she's got Lourdes who's dealing with stuff. She's got, you know, Rocco who's that's a lot. Even with a nanny, even with a chef, and even with, you know, even with 4 massages a day or whatever it is, you know. And like once again, like you said, that's for all people who are economically, you know, able to do that. You know, so is there some sacrifice on one end? On one end, yes, but on the other end, you have to go. Okay, we can't say it that, you know.
Sacrifice is
what
a
part
big
you want?
word,
Yeah,
right?
sacrifice might be a really big word. Yeah, is it challenging sometimes? Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about, you know, people have said in the past few years, like her Instagram, you know, behavior, you know, is this like